Did we take care of the chakra thing? Okay, well, let's get started then. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for coming. Let's continue. There's not much time left. We better hurry and learn from Master YongHua and hope that we can become enlightened very quickly. Okay, so we're talking about Gunavarman, one of the eminent monks in the literature of Buddhism, so let's continue.
Master, you were left off on slide 239.
239. I thought we got to 240 already.
Until 242.
242. Okay, so there's 3 more slides I need to go. So the emperor wanted to resign and become a monk, but his officials begged him to reconsider. So he said, I would reconsider if you agree to these terms. Number 1, you should all become, everyone within the country have to be Buddhists, okay, and make offerings to triple jewel. And they agree to that. Condition number 2, they have to take the 5 precepts and practice the 10 good deeds. 10 good deeds don't need to be taken. They only need to be practiced. The precepts need to be taken because they need to be transmitted by the Sanghas. The 10 good deeds do not need to be transmitted by the Sanghas. You can practice them by yourself. So that's why when Buddhism wasn't available, when there was no Sangha in the world, people can take the 10 good deeds, practice the 10 good deeds. All right. And so their officials also agreed. They ordered their populace to take the 5 precepts and practice 10 good deeds. And condition number 3, the emperor said that they have to open the treasuries and give them away to support the orphans, the widows and widowers, and the bereaved, meaning the ones that lost, bereaved, I believe that's it, they lost your child, okay? And so, meaning that they use their treasuries to support those who needed support, those who really needed help in society. And amazingly, his officials agreed to it. And really is amazing, these people really are different kinds of people. These are different times. Would probably be impossible for that to happen in this 21st century. I can't think of a country where the officials will agree to do that. Okay? But those are our times. People here, our times don't have as many blessings, therefore they would not agree to do those things. So if you have the blessings, then you naturally will give freely without hesitation. And that's a clue you can check for yourself. You give and you hesitate and you have to discriminate and you have to think about it, then you don't have enough blessings. All right, so because his court, all the courtiers agreed to his terms, the emperor remain as an emperor. So he achieved his purpose. His purpose is to make a difference, to help his people. And he felt that if they agreed to do that, then he helped them in a big, big way. And I agree with that. There's a lot of wisdom in the emperor's requests, albeit difficult to comprehend in our times. But you have to understand where the emperor is coming from. The emperor was a good emperor. He wanted to help his people. And so he asked the noblemen, the nobility in his court to make sacrifices. So that's condition number 3. Use the treasuries to give them away to support the poor and those who are needy. And the nobleman agreed to it. So it's very good. It's very impressive that he has good people supporting him. So the emperor, if that's the case, then the emperor can no longer turn the back on his people. Therefore, his people are good people, and therefore he needed to be around to bring them to the next level. Does it make sense now? His 3 conditions. If his nobleman disagreed and he said, no, this is too many sacrifices, then that's a different requirement for the emperor's duties, meaning that he didn't need to be around at all. He could go and do his own things because his people were at a lower level, and therefore any other emperor would do. Whereas with these people, especially the noblemen, were willing to make such big personal sacrifices, he had to be around, to help them further. And how did he help him further? He said, for me to help further, this emperor has wisdom. For me to help my people further, my country further, I need to build a temple for my master. Number 1, to show his appreciation. Number 2, to maybe give him a proper place for him to teach and have people become more respectful because they can go to a spiritual place, a temple, instead of just a palace or somewhere. So now he decided to build a temple so that his teacher, then his master, has more reason to stick around. That's reason number 3. This very wise emperor. I'm impressed. This is emperor. If one day when you become emperor, then you know. He navigated the nobleman, and he got what he wanted. So he says, now I really need my master to be around, to take the next step. So we build a temple. So he said, if I build a temple for my master, then it's better than anyone else. And that, at least to show to the whole country that how much respect I have for this monk here. So another important move from this emperor, that if you want to be respectful, you want to continue to be taught, you have to become more respectful, not less. So he got what he wanted, became a big emperor, and he won over, he defeated his neighboring invading, the invading king. So this king here, sorry, he's not the emperor. This king here is pretty well known that he says he could defeat his neighbor and without shedding any blood. And he got his people to go to have lead a life of virtues, have his noblemen to agree to make sacrifices, meaning that they will continue to serve him in many, many more projects. And so this emperor here says, now I really need support. I really need spiritual support. How many emperors, you think, have that kind of wisdom? So I'm sorry, how many kings will have that kind of wisdom? So this is very special royal person. So he says, I'm going to build a temple, I'm going to build it myself to show how much I respect this monk. Therefore, if I respect this monk, I'm above you, therefore all of you should be more respectful than myself. Isn't that beautiful how he teaches his people? Last night, someone complained, said, how come you tell me about this story that, this guy is such a low level and so forth? You see, there's always lessons to be learned from all different angles. So this king here says, I will build a temple for the master myself. And I will do the work of building a temple. I simply won't just order someone else to do it. I will do it myself. Because no one else is good enough. Okay? This temple deserves my personal attention. It's a major national project, if you will. Special person here. And if you are in power, and if you are famous, if you have success, okay, unless you show proper level of respect, don't expect that you'll be taught. That's his lesson. That's the lesson he's teaching you. He's teaching us. I've had my share of meeting successful people, rich people, powerful people, and that's what they all lack. The same common denominators of these people who are very successful, very rich, very powerful, okay? They think they're better than you, including monks. That's a terrible mistake to make. It's just a person who commented yesterday, why would Master YongHua talk about this eminent monk as his first stage arhat? Let me tell you, very important lessons to be drawn here, if you ask me. Okay? This is wisdom, this king here. Personally, build a place for a beggar. That's how much he honored this beggar, how much he valued the wisdom and the advices of this beggar for him and for his country. He really is a good king. He wanted to govern his country very well. Okay? So he said, for me to continue to do better, I need more help from this monk. That's wisdom. See, he had worldly success. He just defeated the enemy's army without with only shedding his own blood. Okay? And he didn't let that get to his head. He says, I need more advices. I need more wisdom. And this is a problem of worldly people. As soon as you have little wisdom, you lose track. You forget the big picture. And that's very, very sad. And I'm talking not only about you, but also a lot of monks and nuns. And I hope you, my beloved disciples, the special people you are, okay? Do not ever make that mistake. Be humble until your last breath, like your great master. He never thought of himself as special, as a great person, as better than anyone else. Never. And I made a mistake when I was a novice at his temple, that to believe that our Dharma was better, that we're better, and looked around, we're better than everyone else, and therefore that that we felt we're better than everyone else. So that all the disciples who came to our temples reinforced that you're better, basically, compared to the others. And it's sad that I fell for it. I walked around thinking I was better until I left, and I realized I was no better. Big lesson learned. Don't make that mistake, huh? Okay? We're not better. We're part of the big picture. We do our part of the work, and others who do part of theirs. That's all. It's all working together. Okay? Have to be respectful if you want to be taught. So this is a very sincere way of him to say, I could order someone to build a temple for my master, but no, I'm going to build it myself. Show how much I revere him. So to show him how much I revere him to my own people. Set an example for my own people. Good king, superior king. Now, does it make sense to you why he would want to stop being, is it emperor, king, whatever? They call it emperor, right? Yeah, the emperor Shepo. Wang is king, actually, not emperor. Go Wang is king, okay? So now you know why he said, I don't want to be king anymore. I just want to become a monk. It's better becoming a king. He does have wisdom. To build a temple and work on himself. That's what we are. Am I correct? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. Continue. Oh, and they have a workbench, a weight bench over there in the conch. Is that a bench, weight bench you have there? Master Ji, to your right, is that a weight bench? Conch, not JMT. You don't know what a weight bench is? Yeah, that one.
Yes, Master.
Okay.
Yes, Master. Venerable Saint Anne bought that one.
So it's not your fault? Okay, well, congratulations. Physical exercise, okay, you have to work out. Monks and nuns, you have to. You cannot ignore the physical exercise. Learn, what is it? Taekwondo? Kuksu? Hey, you guys know Kuksu in Korea? I learned Kuksu. Oh, the Koreans so impressed. Kuksu, anyone know Kuksu?
Master, kuksu is noodle.
I learned noodle, martial arts. What else do you want? What is this? Is this a conspiracy? There's no martial arts called kuksu in Korea? What is it called? Some kind of martial arts. Never mind. I think you guys are just, this is a conspiracy. No, it doesn't sound like it. Never mind. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's continue, please. Yeah.
给我师父造这个精舍，一
一定要我自己去给做工啊！我虽然是国王嘛，但是我要自己亲身去给做工造这个精水。
Although I am the emperor, I myself must do the work of building this temple.
那么其他有工人啦，当然他也是其中的工人一份子。以国王的身份呢，去给造这个精水。
So there were other workers. He was just one of them. He went to build this temple as the emperor.
The king.
啊，这个很勤的，也不懒惰，在那地方给钉钉子啊，修理这个地方，修理那个地方。
He was very diligent. He was not lax. He hammered nails there and fixed here and there.
啊，有一次正在做工的时候呢，啊，被这个脚就被木头啊。 把脚给砸坏了，啊，砸得肿得很厉害。
One time, when he was working, his foot was hit by a piece of wood and became badly swollen.
他们回来就找师傅说：“师傅，我今天做工，把这个脚砸坏了。”
So he came back to his master and said, "Master, I hurt my foot while working today."
师傅说：“你净自己呀，没有事情找事情干啊！你为什么要你自己去做工呢？”
The master said, "You're always looking for trouble when everything's fine. Why did you have to go do the work yourself?"
他说：“这表示我的对师傅的诚心。”
The emperor said, "To show my sincerity to master."
你说这个师傅说你表示对师傅的诚心，你就要受多一点痛苦。
The master said, "To show your sincerity to your master, you thus had to bear a bit more suffering."
于是乎，他就又用咒啊给他加持加持，即可就好了。
So he blessed him with mantras again. Oh, he recovered right away.
所以他就对于师傅这个信心呢，就很特别的有进步了。特别有进步，在这个时候。
So his faith in his master improved a great deal again. It improved a great deal.
中国南京那宋朝就是这个。
At that time, at Nanjing in China, during the Song of the Southern Dynasties,
小贤法师那个徒弟啊，那个叫慧观的，就听说这个求诺达摩这个法师神通妙用，不可思议，在这个印度一带的弘扬佛法。
Dharma Master Jue Xian Fa Shi's disciple Hui Guan heard Dharma Master Gunavarman had inconceivable spiritual penetrations with wonderful functions.
人人都相信他、供养他、恭敬他。
He was propagating the Buddha Dharma throughout India. Everybody believed in him, made offerings to him, and respected him.
他们说：“哎呀，我们一定要把这个法师请到咱们这国家来弘扬佛法。”
So they said, "We must invite this Dharma master to our country to propagate the Buddha Dharma."
就于是乎又写信呢，又对这个对这个宋这个文帝，就奏明宋文帝。
So he wrote a letter to Emperor Wen of Song. He presented his case clearly to the Emperor Wen of Song.
文
就派这个交趾，这是越南那个地方的刺史，那个地方的官，去迎请这位法师到中国。
So an official was dispatched from Jiaozhi, which is a region of Vietnam. The official of that region was dispatched to invite this Dharma master to come to China.
这慧观法师他们又这个派的这个法常道顺这些个法师呢，就去迎请他。那么迎请他。
Dharma Master Hui Guan and others also dispatched Dharma Masters Fa Chang, Dao Zhong, and others to greet and welcome him.
等他这迎请呢，没有到那儿的时候，他已经去到另外一个小国去弘法去，不是到中国。
As they were on the way, before they even arrived, he already went to another small country to propagate the Dharma. He didn't go to China.
但是呢，很奇怪的，就被这个风给吹到广州这来，被这个大风呢，把这个法师给吹到广州。
But strangely, the wind blew him to Guangzhou. This Dharma master was blown by a strange wind to Guangzhou.
所以，宋朝就派人去迎接他。昨天讲这个功德凯法师。
So the Song dynasty again sent envoys to welcome him. Yesterday, we talked about Dharma Master Gong De Kai.
这个慧观法师派的沙门、法常、道冲、道顺，很多人到印度。
While Dharma Master Hui Guan sent Fa Chang, Dao Chong, Dao Zhong, and many others to India.
去请这位法师，也就是这个舍得国。
To invite the Dharma Master over, to invite him over from Shippo.
这舍得国王呢，本来舍不得叫他这个师傅离开这个国境，离开他的。
The emperor of Shippo was originally reluctant to let his master leave the country, and also was reluctant to be apart from him.
但是又一想，人不应该自私。
But then the emperor had a second thought, thinking that one shouldn't be selfish.
Mr. King.
Okay.
他这个国家是一个很小的国家，咱们印度这个国家不是个大的。这个中国是个大的国家， 他应该呀，是令他师父。
His country was tiny, yet India was a big country. China was a very big country, so he should let his master.
Okay, let's stop here and let me go back. There's so many sections here. I'm not sure you want to get too lost. So he built a temple for his master, and he hurt himself because he was actually doing the work himself, nailing things, and he got injured by a piece of wood that made his foot become badly swollen. Instead of going to see a doctor, this crybaby king went and saw his master and said, "Master, fix my boo-boo for me." And so master fixed the boo-boo for him. I think this is why the master says, "I have enough of this guy." He's just a crybaby. He may be sincere as hell, but he's a really crybaby. If I stay here, I will have to fix his boo-boos for him constantly. I mean, there are doctors in the country. What is the matter with you? When he sees the problem with this guy, this monk here, he says, "It's the emperor. I can't say no to him." I would have said, "Hey, go get call a doctor, man. Do I look like a doctor to you?" But no, that's why. So the master chided him and said, "You always looking for trouble from nothing. Why do you have to go work yourself? Have you seen any movies about how the pharaohs of Egypt built the pyramids? The pharaoh stayed in the tent and worked with the architect, and overseeing things. But he didn't actually go and pull the stones up the pyramid. What is the matter with you?" Emperor said, "To show my sincerity to you, master." Okay, and it says, if you show your sincerity, then it makes sense for you to bear more suffering. So what did he do? Relieve his suffering. So it's contradiction here. This is why I have a hard time, respecting this monk, to be honest with you. I mean, he's a good monk and everything, but he's not consistent. He says, you should suffer, to show your sincerity, you suffer more. But then he fixes his suffering. Yeah, right away, thank you. I'm glad someone follows me. I thought you all fell asleep or something. Anyway, so he fixes with his compassion mantra again, and the emperor recovered again, immediately. Okay, well, the king, I mean. Of course, the king is impressed, he have more faith. Okay, by the way, you monks and nuns, this is what we're supposed to do. And whatever we do is to help people increase the faith. Okay, and so he did well in that sense, that he really inspired a lot of faith. And back then, he didn't have a lot of competition. So just a little bit of compassion mantra prowess, and he got the temple built. Okay, and so somebody appeared in his mom's dream, and she believed. Life was so much simpler back then. I talked to a new person today, and I find myself competing against a Taoist teacher, against all sorts of teachers. And I said, "Oh, poor me! Why do you bother talking to me? I'm a nobody." Anyway, It's no way can inspire you to have faith. Okay, and what I do. So it's okay. But this monk here is pretty impressive. He inspired faith in the king and his mother. Okay, now new piece, new section. So at the time in China, the Song dynasty and the southern Song dynasties, they have a lot of eminent monks in China on their own, but they're always on the lookout for other monks as well. You see, they keep an eye on each other in a way, and so they heard Master Jue Xian. I think we heard about this Jue Xian before, right? He's an eminent monk as well. And his disciples, Hui Guan, Jue Xian is, I believe, is one of those monks who had like 40 disciples or something. Anyway, so many of them. The Chinese are good. We here in America don't have that many eminent monks. It'll be quite a ways before we get there. Hurry up, okay? So his disciple Jue Xian's disciples Hui Guan heard of this Gunavarman and heard about his inconceivable spiritual penetrations. Miao Yung, penetration with wonderful results. Yung here is functions, but it refers to that people can see the results of his spiritual penetration. You cannot translate, verbatim. Okay, this is the Chinese way of talking, and you translate with wonderful functions. I struggle with that when I read these things, that function, substance, and all those things, and I say, huh? What are you guys talking about? And it's amazing. The Chinese who translated this, they brush on that, they ignore that, like, hey, it's obvious. What do you have to ask? YouTube question.
From Addison, Brazil. I apologize for challenging what I have heard and want to say with humble respect. A mantra that can heal the king's injury instantly is inconceivable. What happened to these mantras? Everyone would become Buddhist just by hearing and seeing these mantras, these miracles.
Yeah, you're right. You can challenge me. In Buddhism, we have a lot of miracles, and we don't talk about it because we're not in the business of selling miracles at all. Okay? We don't care about miracles. Miracle is for you. If you like it, fine. Okay? But we're not doing miracles in order to impress you, in order to sell our religion to you, to sell our skills to you at all. Okay? It's for you. Okay? It turns out that the conditions arose so that this particular monk, and many monks can do that, that they recite this great compassion mantra for your information. It's still around, it's still being practiced, it still produces miracles left and right, but we don't brag about it. And thank you for checking in from Brazil. Did you realize people listening from Brazil? I mean, we are far-reaching. Just kidding. It doesn't matter. I'm still a small fry, regardless. Talking to someone today who has hundreds of people listening in, I said, oh my God, I will never have that. Anyway, so you're right. It's okay to ask questions. Of course, you're not Chinese. The Asians, they hear a lot of such stories, so it's not a big deal to them. That's why the Chinese, for those of us who are in the know, are not. Yes, we impressed with miracles, but we're not selling miracles. Okay. If you tune in more often and you go back to maybe the older Dharma talks we have, and then listen to Master YongHua's instructions as well in English. Those translations actually should be very good for you, by the way. You will find out more. So be patient, okay? Be patient, and it's very fascinating stories. More miracles than you can imagine. And the more you hear, and you say, the more you hear too many of them, then begin to say, oh, what's the big deal? Miracles. There's too many miracles. Okay? What we don't call miracles, we call responses. If you are sincere, then you attain responses. Because this Gunavarman was pretty sincere. That's why he got a lot of responses from his practice of the Great Compassion Mantra, even though its level is pretty low. Okay? Because typically, for a person who practices the Great Compassion Mantra at his level, they will not be able to use the mantra to heal the wounds that quickly. Truthfully speaking, it doesn't take that. It's not that fast unless he got help himself. Okay, but that's okay. If it works for him, that's wonderful. I'm glad. Okay, but don't expect it to work for you. For example, in our times, because times are different. Okay, conditions are different. Okay, so in conclusion, feel free to challenge me, feel free to ask questions, okay? It doesn't offend me at all. I don't know everything. And if I can answer you, I will try to. If I don't, I just say, look somewhere else. Okay, so this Gunavarman, like Master YongHua, too bad, Brazil, woman, a lady, didn't get to meet Master YongHua. Master YongHua also displayed a lot of inconceivable spiritual penetrations when he was alive, in China and here as well, okay, to countless people. And that's why he died early, okay, in my humble opinion. Okay, so they heard about Gunavarman and with inconceivable spiritual penetration. They were impressed. So they heard that he's a Buddhist monk propagating Buddha Dharma throughout India. Had a lot of believers and who made offerings to him and respect to him. So the Chinese said, well, no, we cannot let this pass by. We should bring him to our country so that we too can take advantage of his skills and his wisdom. Okay? This is what they used to do in those times. They saw a great teacher in the Buddha Dharma, a great monk, Buddha Dharma. They would send, the king and the emperors would send their emissaries to bring them over and treat them with respect and with utmost respect and sincerity. And that's why they got a lot out of those people. And again, this is to remind you that the times are quite different. Nowadays, when Master YongHua came to this country, he's on his own. And he did everything on his own. Okay, never got any support from the government. And back then, you have to have the government to support you. You wanted to propagate the Dharma, okay? Because all the money is in the hands of the nobilities and the king and the emperors. The poor people cannot afford to do anything for the monks and nuns. It's just the way it is. Okay. So that's why if Master YongHua had to do his work right now, back then he would have to come see a king or the president and ask for help, impress the president to ask for help, and that probably would have happened too. But we're lucky in that he didn't have to do that. So he set the example for us so that we don't have to do that either. Okay, there's no excuses. So Hui Guan reported to the Emperor Wen of Song dynasty. When you listen to the tape, you should listen to the tape. Don't just read the English. Do you understand? You're Chinese, you get it. Because you're supposed to learn too. So he wrote the emperor and convinced the emperor Wen of Song to go try to find officials, send officials to invite the master Gunavarman, the Indian monk, to come over to China. So he sent a bunch of people to welcome him. And it's a big deal. It costs money, okay? To send people from China to India. It's expensive. It's a long trip, and it's very arduous. And it's no good road. But the Chinese emperor agreed and sent a bunch of people. Okay, but Gunavarman already left. So after his disciple built a temple for him, he left. That's what happened, but there's apparently there's a conflict here, because but hopefully we'll resolve it a bit later. And Gunavarman went to Guangzhou. Okay, Guangzhou, how far is it from India? Apparently, some kind of wind blew him to Guangzhou, so he probably boarded a vessel, a boat, and the wind blew him to Guangzhou. So the Song Emperor finally was able to welcome him to China directly. Okay, now Master YongHua then somehow started over again. He said, yesterday we talked about our Master Gung Te Kai, that's Gunavarman, I think, and how Hui Guan sent his disciples or his Dharma brothers to India, along with the officials of India, to invite Gunavarman over. And at that time, the king, his disciple, was reluctant to leave the country, okay, or himself. But he says, I should not be selfish. My country is small. And so if he's willing to go to China, his master is willing to go to China, then he should let his master, okay? So you see, this Mo king here is pretty wise. He has pretty good wisdom. He can let go his teacher. He says, I should not be selfish, okay? So in a way, Gunavarman did a good job teaching this Indian king, okay? So that's why maybe his reputation is well deserved. Okay, let's continue.
Go to the big country of China to teach and transform living beings. Therefore, even before the Chinese Shramanas arrived in Shipo.
这位求罗法师已经呢坐船到一个小国里去日本弘法，当时就因为这个
Dharma Master Gunavarman had already taken a boat to another small country, preparing to propagate the Dharma there.
顺风坐船呢，遇到很大的风，一刮就把它刮到中国广东。
But because of a favorable wind, the boat encountered a strong wind which blew him to Guangdong, China.
到了广东啊，到了广东之后，以后啊，就到石兴。石兴呢，是这个广东的一个县名。
So he came to Guangdong. He arrived in Guangdong, Shixing. Shixing is a county of Guangdong.
这个县里头有个山，这个山呢，他看见这个山呢，和这个印度那个灵鹫山是差不多的样子。
In that county, there is a mountain. He saw this mountain and felt its appearance was similar to the Vulture Peak in India.
所以把这个山呢，也就改成灵鹫山了。他就在这个山上呢，造了一个庙。
So he changed the name of this mountain to Vulture Peak and built a temple on it.
这个山很多的老虎，有人呢到这个山那地方就被虎给吃了。
There were many tigers on this mountain. Some people went to this mountain and got eaten by the tigers.
Okay, YouTube question.
Master, I just wanted to correct something. Addison Brazil is born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona,
Oh no.
and he's living in Mexico.
Oh no.
He said he
This
truly
is so
appreciates
confusing.
his patience. That tell Master I truly appreciate his patience with my questions.
Mexico? Okay. A Brazilian born in United States but lives in Mexico. The world is so complicated nowadays. Brazilians used to live in Brasilia. Okay? But anyway, I'm glad you were tuning in. Don't worry. Okay? The Dharma is for everyone. No question is stupid unless I say so. No, I love it. Seriously, I love it because I hate it when I saw how Master Shehua's talk, whether it's lecture or Dharma talks, no one ever dared ask him any question. This is so weird to me. I don't know what kind of people attended his lectures in the U.S. It's not American, not the kind of Americans I'm used to. You know, Americans are insolent. They are irreverent. They are disrespectful. They have doubts, and they're not afraid to tell you, right, Anthony? There you go. Okay? So if you can't take it, you should not speak Dharma. Okay? But anyway, he, for some reason, no one challenged him. This is annoying to me. It would be so much more fun if someone said, I believe you and so forth, and see what he would say. Anyway, that's his way virtue. Is so awesome that no one asks him questions. In contrast, I have no way virtue. Act more like a clown. That's why no one has respect. Anyway, so let's go back. She says I should let go, and Gunavarman boarded a boat planning to go to a different country in India. Now, this is to me, I try to share with you how I hear the story, what I read between the lines. You understand? You non-English speaking people, read between the lines. Okay. Hey, Mexico person, do you understand? Never mind. Okay. So, why did he run away? Couple reasons. Couple potential reasons. Number one, he can't teach them. He says, hey, I've done what I could. If they ask me more questions, I wouldn't be able to answer them. For example, if they ask me, Master, if you can use the Great Compassion Mantra to heal me, how about teaching me? Why can't I do it? What are you going to say? You see the problem? When you display your prowess, your disciples are bound to come and say, I want to do it too. Why won't you tell me how to do it? And they whine, why won't you tell me? I have whiners for disciples too, They complain all the time. Why won't you tell me? You'll be told when it's time to tell you. So shut up. Stupid. Never mind. So you see, the real issue to me is that I think it's time for him to run away. The temple is too big. Now more people come up and say, hey, teach me. What else have you got? You see? So, again, the point I'm trying to tell you is that you have to know your limitations. There's so much you can do, okay? And it's time for him to move on because that's as far as he could take him. Okay? So he started over again. Does it make sense? Because that's why he can do the most good. Because had he stayed, he would have really not been able to do much for those people anymore. Remember, he's a first stage art. There's not a whole lot of wisdom in there for him. It's a whole lot of room he has to maneuver, to bring people along. Okay? And the other second reason is probably, he says, this king here is such a whiner. Oh God, he keeps on complaining, swollen foot, He comes and cries immediately. That's too much. Okay. So he left. What do you think? Again, you need to know your limitation. There's so much you can do. So move on. Okay? Don't pretend to be able to do more than you can. And the wind blew him to... are we there yet? Not yet? So wind blew him to Guangdong. He went to Guangdong, Shixing, a county in Guangdong. He saw a mountain, and appearance was like similar Vulture Peak in India. So he renamed it as the Vulture Peak. I think monks should stop naming things. Respect the local thing unless they ask for it. Okay? If you are a mountain ruling spirit, you will not be happy. You say, you are a first stage art. I'm a mountain ruling spirit. And you dare rename the mountain, my mountain? Okay? Stop it. Okay? But you name it Vulture Peak anyway, because it looked like Vulture Peak. And many and built a temple there. Okay, so you see, he has a reputation already. He could build a temple there. He got support to build a temple. And are we there yet? The tigers. So, but the mountain has a lot of tigers, and the people got devoured by the tigers. Okay, we're there. I remember.
他到这个山上造的庙，那么就有很多出家人呢，就是住。
He arrived at this mountain and built a temple. Then lots of left-home people lived there.
每逢他自己住的地方呢，离这个庙啊，是大约有1里路啊，这么远。这个打引磬呢，听不见。
His own living quarters were about 1 mile from the temple. One can't hear the small bell from there.
但是每逢啊，一打这个引磬的时候，那他就来了。
But every time the small bell was hit, he would show up.
正打引磬或者上供啊，或者做什么佛事啊，他一定。
When they hit the small bell or made offerings or held Dharma assemblies, he would for sure show up.
他来呀，怎么说他是正果的、正出果的圣人？
When he came, how could you tell he had attained fruition, that he was a sage who attained the first fruition?
正果的圣人，行动和人不同的。
Sages who have attained fruitions, their behaviors are different from regular people.
他走路啊，是离开地有这个1寸这么高的，他不走这个陆地，还在空中走。
When he walks, he's above the ground, about an inch high. He doesn't walk on the ground, he walks in the air.
别人看他是在地上走，但是他是在空中走。
Others saw him walking on the ground, but he was actually walking in the air.
所以他那个就是下雨天呢，他那个鞋的底下也不沾泥土，所以一般人呢认为这是圣人。
So even when it was raining, there would be no dirt on the soles of his shoes. Thus, regular people thought he was a sage.
Okay,
Would you
let's
like
stop.
to? Yeah.
Okay, next section. Okay, so there are more anecdotes on his prowesses. So he built a temple on this mountain, and their mountain is a mountain area, so lots of Asian tigers in the mountain. These are Chinese tigers. They're still around back then. And after he built a temple, a lot of left-home people lived there. So you see, his reputation, he has pretty big reputation. Left-home people came to stay in his temple. And he was living, he lived about a mile away from a temple. Probably a good idea, okay, to give room for the monks and nuns to be themselves. Otherwise, they walk around and say, "Is Master here, you know?" We have to be, he cannot be ourselves. So, but he can very far away, but he could hear the small bell and for assemblies and so forth. Okay, so he has some spiritual penetration, the heavenly ear. Okay, he could hear from very far. Okay. And another anecdote is that he was able to walk on air, okay, because his foot, as he walked, his foot, I think, remember this anecdote here, it really impressed me when I first listened to it. And that he was walking on air, and his feet appears to be treading on the ground, but actually they were floating in the air. So that's why shoes don't get dirty when it was the ground was dirty. So he's really showing off, you will. So clearly, this is why he's so famous. People saw that this guy is different, this monk is different, and therefore he knew he was a sage. So basically, the message is that if you're first stage arhat, you consider to be a sage in Hinayana. In Mahayana, we don't consider first stage arhat to be sages at all, but he's even at first stage arhat, you're able to walk on air. Okay. And that's how it is. Now, let me tell you, I used to go to chantis at Master Shenhua's temples for a few years. Every winter, we had a big chanti, a long chanti, 4G, and then a chanti, and so forth. And during chanti, every night at around this time, we would listen to his tape like this as well. And we listened to the Chinese, couldn't understand. At the time, I couldn't understand anything at all. And then we would eagerly await it to hear the English translation. That's all we got, okay? And everyone took advantage of it to not sit in full lotus. Okay, no one sat in full lotus. Everyone is like so comfortable. You know, hey man, this is our break time, official break time. Unlike you, look at you. You're all listening and in full lotus. Huh? You are so superior, really. I'm so ashamed of myself. Okay. Anyway, so that's all we got. And to me, I was bored to death because at first, I wanted to ask questions, but they couldn't answer anything. So I stopped asking questions. So every night, it's like you sit, you know, and you listen in Chinese. You don't understand a single word what he's talking about. And then you listen to the English translation. And it sounded pretty good. You know, the translation, they did a pretty good job. They spent the whole day translating. It's 2 hours. 1 hour, they spent the whole day translating. Every single day. Okay? They were very busy. So on the Chanchi days, 2 people, a Chinese guy from China and an American monk, a disciple of his, they would be together, get together, listen to the tape, and it would take them an entire day to translate. Okay, so it's very nice that they did that. And to me, it's nice to be able to listen to these stories because it came from a different world. Now you guys are so cynical. You say, why are we listening to first stage arhats? Story of first stage arhats. They're sages. Come on. What is the matter with you? Okay? It's not that easy to get the first stage arhat. Oh my God. But anyway, so the way we survived is that you're forced in this mode. And let me tell you, it's funny when I look back. You're forced in this mode where, because you're a monk, you're a novice, I was a novice, so you have no saying over anything, okay? And so you're supposed to do what you're told, okay? And the Chinese are very clear about it. Just shut up, okay? So do it. It's one-way training. You don't have any input. You do what you're told. Okay? And so we would, every night I was bored to death the whole day. So I would find excuses to go to the school and teach because I could speak English in a Chinese temple. So it's hot commodity, if you will. So, and for some reason, the kids loved me. I hated kids. God, I couldn't stand kids. But the kids in the schools loved me. So it's a love and hate relationship. I hated them, but I needed them so that I didn't have to go to sit in meditation and be bored to death by these people who could not even sit in full lotus. Okay? And so, but the chanti is interesting because every night you're forced to sit there for an hour. You listen to the tape, and they play the tape, listen to translation, they play the tape, listen to translation. At the end, 5 minutes, you have any questions? And eventually, no one asks questions anymore. Because we ask questions, we were given stupid answers by the abbot anyway. So no one bought into it, so we stopped asking questions. Everyone stopped asking questions. Maybe that's why they didn't ask questions at all at his temples. But anyway, the one aspect of this that I want to point out to you is that when you listen to the teaching, when you listen to the instructions, you should, here's the process. You listen to it, especially Master YongHua's Chinese, which very few people can understand. Listen to Chinese, one ear, and goes out the other ear. So what happens is that the effect of that is that you can let go of your thinking mind. His voice has a pacifying effect. It relaxes you. Yes or no? So that's why you need to learn how to take advantage of it. You listen to the tape. When you play the tape, just listen one ear, go out the other. That's all. Just listen to the sound and don't do anything. Okay? And that's Chan, by the way. You hear the sound, but you do nothing. That is a Chan training. Questions, comments? You see? That's why sometimes do what you're told and eventually you understand. In time you understand why. Because they would not waste your time. We will not waste your time. Yes, too.
Master, just a quick question. So some of the sages Master YongHua described, is it possible that some of them he might describe as like maybe sages, but they might actually be enlightened?
Possible, but unlikely. Because you look at his behavior. He was not that strict with the king. Meaning he's afraid of the king. If you teach the king and you're afraid of him, then you're not teaching him at all, are you? What Dharma are you teaching when you're afraid of your student? What Dharma are you teaching? What Dharma are you propagating? You need your student. So it's possible, but I think it's unlikely. He's really a first stage Arhat, and that's why he can do so much, and he got a lot of help. This is a message to all of you. You know, you want to propagate the Dharma, and you're really sincere. You can get help. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas will help you. Or they're helping us. We could have not done what we did so far without their help. It's just a fact. Okay, so he did things like walking on air and stuff like that. I mean, what for? Okay, monks are not supposed to be noticed. Way Mountain, go ahead.
Master, about the part where he can walk in the air, if he wants people to notice, couldn't he just float without walking? Is that possible too?
Yeah, and then you can look like a ghost. A ghost monk, a monk ghost. Wouldn't that be cool? And then people will say, are we following ghost Buddha Dharma or Buddha Dharma ghost? See, that's why when you are different and you manifest different things, the one we allow to manifest as monks and nuns is awesome comportment. There's certain ways of standing, certain ways of sitting, certain way of walking, and so forth. That's okay. But in general, for Hinayana monks like him, the Buddha basically forbade them to manifest spiritual penetrations, except for only a few. Okay, the Buddha, according to the Hinayana suttas that I read a long time ago in English translations, the Buddha allowed a certain spiritual manifestations only, but no more than that. And so, for example, the first stage Arhat, they're allowed to leap in the air and in the upper body emit water, lower body emit fire, or vice versa, emit fire, upper body, and water in the lower body, and so forth. Those are the spiritual penetrations the Buddhas allowed them to manifest. But no more, very limited, a handful, maybe 2 or 3 manifestations you can demonstrate. That's it. Okay, so you can float in the air and emit fire and water. You can walk on air and so forth. Okay, but they rarely manifest spiritual penetrations at all. Go ahead, you two.
From Alex, is it okay to chant Namo Master YongHua while sitting?
Oh, absolutely. Do it more often. But I'm warning you, you will not have any results. You're going to recite all you want until you're blue in the face. Nothing's going to happen. Guaranteed. It would be a miracle if anything happens at all. If anything happens at all, please record it. I need testimonials like yours. I like this guy. So let's continue, huh? Okay, we have 10 more minutes.
有的时候，他走路就会遇到这个老虎。
Sometimes he would encounter a tiger when he was walking.
遇到老虎啊，他就用他这个拄杖，行路用一个拄杖。
When he encountered a tiger, he would use his walking stick, this stick.
Yeah, and you know why he repeats now? Now I understand why he repeats. He keeps on repeating himself. It drove me nuts. Now I understand. This theater is instant. Now I understand. You know why? Have you figured it out? It bothers me every single night. It doesn't bother you, it bothers me. Why do you keep on repeating yourself like that? I mean, you know why? Anyone? It's so clear now to me. Huh? Anyone? Come on, come on. Why? Koreans. Say something important. Huh? Why do you think? Huh?
Gold Forest has a question
Go Forrest, go ahead.
or response.
Why? Unmute yourself. Yeah.
Thank you. So,
We just heard you for a second.
All right. Here's some music. Is it what they do in Go Forest? We're not there. Listen to music.
hello, Master. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Master.
Thank you, Lord.
Sorry, Master, this is not about your lecture today, but this is about me today. So, can I repentance today with you?
Sure.
Yes, Master, thank you. So today I have lied to someone. So
Your husband?
repentance? No, just someone else. And
Like
I
who?
know I will lie again.
Like who?
So,
I'm showing, demonstrating to you how to do a face-to-face repentance. Okay? Who? Name. Social security number.
so his name is a kind of Mexico name.
Huh?
Thing.
Your customer?
Well, kind of that. Yeah.
What? What did she say?
Yes, kind of that, Master. So so I lied today. So and I know in future I have to lie again. So I don't know if Master have the solution or I need to withdraw my precept. One precept.
Have you lied to your husband recently?
No, Master. No.
No?
Just
You're not lying to me right now.
no, sure. No. Sure. So can I withdraw one precept?
No, that lie is repentable. Okay, you pure and clean right now. See how easy it is? Just don't lie. Just don't lie the big deals. The small deals like that, oh, who cares?
Thank you, Master. That's all I need today.
Yes, you're very special. Okay. Oh no. Got caught, huh? Okay. Well, anyway, been going on too long. Okay, so So anyway, so anyone figure out why he keeps on repeating himself? Yes, too.
Master, the second time he repeats himself, is he visualizing it? Is he visualizing it?
No. Anyone else? It's right here. You too.
From Chin, he is thinking the English translation like the example of stick.
Yeah, that's it. Because what happened is that back then, his disciples, Chinese, sucks. They didn't know what he's talking about. Does it make sense now? It's because it bothered me. The guy was, Master Hsien was like in his 50s. In 1970, his 50s, right? Yeah, his 50s, early 50s. Why would he be talk like an old man? I went to the market today. I went to the market. Yeah, he kept on saying that. It's to help his disciples. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So that's how they translate it. That's what happened, I think. Yeah. So the chang here, Zhu chang here is not something they heard before. So he has a stick. A stick. Yes, 5.
Master, a reference for future translation. When Master YongHua repeats like this to emphasize, to explain to his disciple what the Chinese is, can we omit or should we follow like the repeat?
It's okay. No need to worry about it. It is what it is. Remember, we just listen to it and don't react, don't complain. Don't say, how come why is it so boring? Yeah. Okay, just listen and relax. Let go. Let go of your complaints, your whining. You too.
From Addison, Brazil, unrelated question. Is there an equivalent recitation for Akshoba Buddha that is similar to Emitofuo or Amitabha Buddha?
Yeah, Yao Shu Rulai. Yao Shu Rulai asked your local Mexico temple. They have that too. Go to any Chinese temple. They will teach you. That's why we use Yao Shu Rulai. If you can't find it, we can email to us or something, or something like that. Okay? It's Yao Shu Rulai. Medicine Master Buddha. Medicine Master Tathagata. Q&A.
I think she's not intending to put up the Q&A sign right now.
What?
I think she doesn't intend the Q&A sign. I don't think they have a question.
They don't have a question anymore? Okay, fine. Then time is oh, that's it. Oh, that's finish this section here. Then, okay, go ahead. It's a stick.
He would use the stick to press on the tiger's head and speak Dharma for the tiger. After he finished, the tiger will leave on its own.
Okay, and that's the end of it.
Go to the next slides. Yeah.
That's the end of the tape, right? Right. Time is up anyway. So he uses this walking stick, a piece of wood, nothing special. He probably picked it up from somewhere, and use it as a piece of wood. You know, back then in China, they didn't have walking sticks yet, you know, that you can buy from Amazon or Alibaba. So he used a stick to touch the head of the tiger, which is interesting that the tiger would let him touch it without attacking you. The tiger is pretty ferocious. And you see a tiger, you move, they attack you. Okay, so for him to use a stick to press against the tiger's head, you know, clearly he's using spiritual power again, and to freeze the tiger so that he would can finish speaking Dharma to him, and then the tiger would then be allowed to leave. So he's kind of exhibits like Master YongHua. You know why he likes his story, because he's just like me. Have a lot of spiritual penetrations. Well, it's okay because back then there's not a whole lot of competition, so it makes sense for Master YongHua to show off like that, or for him to show off, because it helps people develop faith a lot easier. So it's understandable. Nowadays, you do that. You would cause a lot of problems for the other monks and nuns. Okay? So you are really sages, don't do that. Okay? It causes problems to others, other monks and nuns in particular. Okay? Because the lay people would then ask, especially people from Brazil, Mexico, and ask, how come you don't have any spiritual penetrations? Okay, and you talk down about people and so forth. Okay, so all right. So time is up. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Trust me. I know some of you may be bored. Trust me, this the being able to listen to a great sage like a Master YongHua's instructions is a real treat. Eventually, down the road in the future, you understand what I mean. It's an incredible blessing to have this available. Trust me. So in the future, even if you don't have clowns like me to make comments, I still would advise you to listen to such translations, because in his voice, I don't know about you, but when I listen to his voice, it's very calm, has a calming effect on me, meaning that I hear a voice of someone who's totally unafflicted at all. Okay? So it's very nice voice. Some people they like to listen to music like I do, prefer music, not rap music, okay? For some reason, I'm against rap music. So I have a lot of afflictions. And so, but to somehow listening to Master YongHua's voice has a really calming effect, okay? To me, it's a treat to be able to hear the noise of such a great being, what his voice is like. So it's kind of very special for me personally. I hope someday you appreciate it too. Okay? Well, thank you everyone. We'll see you next time.